All right, Carolina weather video back in action today. This is the edition for Wednesday, the 12th day of January. A good amount to talk about. I'll talk about kind of a recap and how the forecast for me verified for the past system. I always like to do that after systems, kind of look back at what went right, what went wrong, and what we can learn from it. We'll also look at what's happening right now and what's ahead. And some interesting things still to go. Winter is far from over. Let's take a look at the initial call map I put out. I believe I put that out Sunday afternoon. That's correct, Sunday afternoon. And this is what I threw out there. And then when I got into the weather office early on Monday morning, this is the map I went with on the air in terms of snow accumulations. Now again, I've been verbalizing that we would kick over to a period of freezing rain, and that did indeed occur, and most folks saw a tenth of an inch to maybe 2/10 of an inch in North Carolina. Focusing on North Carolina, the South Carolina accumulation maps I had not seen those as of yet. But Raleigh has released the North Carolina accumulation map, and again, this is what actually verified for the 10th through 11th snow event. Now, these are snow accumulations. This does not show the ice accumulations, which everybody got some of that, or at least most folks got some of that. So the initial ideas here, and on both maps, this one and this one, generally speaking, the ideas here from North Georgia into the upstate of South Carolina and into the southern Piedmont, the ideas were pretty good. Let's go back to the one I used on air, and there you go. And this map doesn't have any 6-inch totals, but we've gotten several emails of some 5- and 6-inch totals in this area, parts of Gaston, Cleveland, parts of Mecklenburg and Union counties, and then of course the amounts really ramped up down here in the upstate as well. Now what did not go particularly well with the forecast is, first of all, this area got way more snow than I'd gone with initially. Another snow event right to the coast here in southeastern North Carolina. And the triad verified on the low end of things in terms of snow. Most triad areas 1 to 2 inches, some locally higher amounts. Southern section certainly did well. And the foothills wound up with 2 inches or so. And again, you go back to these maps I initially issued. I had triad initially in the 2 to 5, and then I went 2 to 4 with the map on air Monday morning. So certainly that verified low, some areas below that range. And the Raleigh-Durham area, the triangle just didn't get enough moisture to have any decent snow, but they did end up with a pretty decent glazing of ice. And the Sandhills did very well. So again, this is my ideas. I don't want to pull anybody else into it. The Sandhills, I was way underdone over to the coast in terms of snow amounts. The moisture really made it down here. Did not make it so much up here. And taking a look at the liquid precip amounts in terms of the liquid equivalent, Charlotte had about, these are rough estimates, Charlotte had about a 1/2 inch of liquid equivalent. The Triad had about a 1/4 inch. GSP had about 3/4 of an inch. And so, those initial ideas were not too bad. In terms, when you figure out the equivalent. The one thing to learn from this is some of the modeling at the last couple of cycles before the event really ramped these QPF amounts in the southern Piedmont over 1 inch, and those were significantly overdone. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we go forward. The NAM especially really went nuts with QPF amounts, and that just didn't verify. The amounts around a 1/2 inch or so for Charlotte were what actually verified, and 3/4 of an inch for the upstate. All right, so we put that event to bed. Then we move forward. Here we go with the radar imagery this morning. And most of what you see up here through the New England states is snow, and a lot of it. I've been watching some of the live shots from around Boston. I mean, it is coming down up that way. Another area where it never shows up very well on radar that it's coming down is in the North Carolina mountains. It is a raging snow event, upslope snow event up in the mountains once again. In fact, I'll show you a couple cameras here. All right, this is Charlie's Beach Cam there at Beach Mountain, and it looks like Alaska or something up there. I mean, that is another huge snow event. There'll be some mountain spots that get over 1 foot of snow when all is said and done with this event once again. There's a camera view from Boston, and not much you can see there due to the heavy snow. Temperatures this morning, here you go. Big blast of cold air heading and dropping southeastward, carving farther south and east in time. Their wind stream contours pulling that Arctic air directly into the southeastern United States. And this is the upper air chart for today, and there comes the nice trough in the eastern part of the country. There's the snowstorm. That's the same low, by the way, that lifted up to the Carolina coast. It just really strengthened as they got up off southern New England. So here's the surface chart off the GFS, 1 o'clock this afternoon. The snowstorm continues for the New England states, and pretty much all snow with that one, at least from here on out, up in the New England states. Today we're going to see, let's go back to today. Today in the Piedmont of the Carolinas, we'll see a pretty good amount of sunshine. Some of those clouds from the snow up in the mountains will waft our way. Maybe even a flurry or two in the foothills, as could see a snow shower or two try to break containment, but I don't think it will be like it was last Saturday. And it's going to be cold and blustery. Highs in the 30s, winds maybe gusting over 30 in the Piedmont at times, so we're going to be looking at highs today in the 30s, but wind chills at best in the 20s. Upper teens and lower 20s for Piedmont lows tonight, then a lot of sunshine tomorrow, and again, we're only talking 30s for highs. It won't be as windy, though. The coldest night of this cold spell should be Thursday night into Friday morning. Some evidence on the modeling, we might get a little clouds in here Thursday night, and that would, of course, hold temperatures up a bit. But I'm going to kind of stick with mid-teens for Friday morning, and we'll see how those clouds behave. Friday looks like a pretty good day, but a pretty cold day still. A lot of Piedmont highs shy of 40 once again. But then we get into some moderating temperatures over the weekend. There's Saturday, there's Sunday. Both days should feature highs in the 40s. Could even see a few folks clipping 50 Sunday afternoon. And then we get toward our next system. Now, this is the 0Z run of the GFS. This is Monday evening, and this is Tuesday as that system pulls on in. I meant to put the Canadian chart on here. Oh, one more chart here, and there's 1 a.m. Wednesday. I meant to put the Canadian on here. I just forgot to do it, but it was all the models have this, but then the Canadian was most pronounced, was showing cold air damming and indicating some wintry precip potential, at least initially, Monday and Monday night as this precip moved in. And all of the models do have that cold air damming to some degree. So this could be a deal where we have some wintry precip at the onset in some of the favorite cold air damming spots, but at the moment it still looks like most of that event will be rain, especially on Tuesday. All right, one look further out. A lot of folks asking about it later this month. This is the day 8 to 10 mean, European model on the left, GFS on the right, and that sure is not a warm-looking setup. Full latitude trough, both models, eastern U.S. And kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. Some ridging going up around the west coast. Discharge of Arctic air into the eastern part of the country in both models. So the end of next week does look pretty cold, and there you go. 0Z GFS following suit with the upper air pattern. This is Friday evening, the 21st. There you go. Full direct discharge of a cold Arctic air. So we might get into a milder pattern down the road. Of course, inevitably we will at some point, but I'm not seeing any great indication of that happening anytime soon, certainly not within the next week to 10 days. We're going to stay in the colder pattern more often than not, and really it's going to be after a little bit of a milder stretch this weekend. Probably head back toward colder weather again next week. All right, that's it for today for this long-winded edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for checking the blog. Everyone have a great day, and God bless.